Namaste. Welcome to IAS News. I'm Dr. Krishna Puttaparthi from Dallas, Texas. I'm going to introduce today's guest, Dr. Karanam Aravinda Rao, IPS Retired Director General of Police, United Andhra Pradesh. He has written many books on Hinduism and Bhagavad Gita, and recently has written a book on Indic religions, survival, challenges for survival. In India it is in English. Now it is also available in Telugu. So let's welcome Dr. Karanam Aravinda Rao. Dr. Aravinda Rao, that we have seen that Generation G happened in Nepal and also in Bangladesh. There's so much of chaos there. There's somebody trying to do something in India also. So what is your take on this Generation G?
It may not happen on a very large scale. Number one, because Nepal is a small country. Bringing about a revolution is quite easy because you can just catch hold of some people, give some money, and then with some little bit of armed force means some activists, you can bring about some revolution and then bring about the downfall of the government. But India is too big a country either to mend or to mar. That is my view. If you want to destroy India also, it is very difficult. If you want to uplift India also, it is very difficult. So that is the position of India. There can be some protests here and there. There can be some, like we had the protests for the sake of farmers issue. We had some protests. Again, some Shaheen Bagh incident, some protests were there in Delhi. They were there. The same group of the so-called left liberals and all these people who were former sympathizers of Naxalites, front organizations of all these Maoist elements, the same people, they are there. The same people who champion the cause of Islamic fundamentalists or Islamic terrorists, the same people are there. So the people who behind either Sardarjis, in fact, we know that Sardarjis, they are our own people. All these Sikhs, they are our own people. And now such a wedge has been drawn between the Hindus and Sikhs, because the first born among Hindus was the Sardarji, and Sikhism born in order to protect Hinduism.
The more to say that you are Khalistanis, even Sardarji.
No, that's what I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
Khalistanis, in fact, the people who are now demanding a separate Khalistan, they are far away from their own textbook. If they read their own textbook, they will find hundreds of references about Krishna, Rama, and all these things. So again, coming back to your question about Gen Z,
Generation G, yeah.
I don't think it is possible on a large scale, just so as to topple the government as a whole. There may be some sporadic protests here and there. Otherwise, had it been possible, people would have already done it, because there are so many enemies for India. All our neighbors are inimically disposed. And all said and done, even the Western countries, in the heart of their hearts, they want to dismember India and then they want to share, because that 19th century mentality has not yet disappeared. If they are now, right now they are weak, so that is how they are looking good. But then, if the same UK and the same Europe is strong, they are the first people who will dismember India. Because when British people left this place, they expected this country to break down. Luckily, it did not break down. So, the Gen Z type of protests toppling a government, in my view, I don't think it is possible.
So I know that there are some external forces are also working,
maybe
along with the internal forces.
Yeah, maybe.
We have some internal. So that is also possible, right?
It is not possible, because there is still, all said and done, there is still some dharma. All said and done, there is some little middle class morality. That middle class morality is holding this country. If people are asked to come onto the roads and then protest, all are not willing to come, except those who are paid. So you may bring some paid people here and there, and then that will go on for some time. But people are not going to come out.
Okay.
That is my view.
Yeah.
Because there is dharma still in the common man. Dharma may not be there among politicians, dharma may not be there among intellectuals, but dharma is there among people.
See, the other thing I would like to ask you, Dr. Rao, see that when you were, like a teenager or maybe in 20s, have you seen anything like now we have this kind of completely, kind of one religion and then other religion fighting each other, even that before there, but because of there's so much of media, social media and all these things, is it getting bad and worse than you compare to when you were young?
It's not like that. We were not aware of the mischief earlier. Thanks to social media and all that, we are now becoming aware. We are now becoming aware because, for example, if you talk about independence time, Gandhi and Nehru, they ought to have known the mechanism of Islamic fundamentalism. After all, they were said to be great intellectuals. They were very great intellectuals, everybody says. But then, do they not know the mechanism how Prophet Muhammad conquered all the areas and what the Bible or Quran say about how they have to spread by killing people, by taking over their properties, by taking over their women, etc., etc. It is there in their books. God Himself says. So, were these people totally unaware? Probably they were aware, or probably they were not aware. So, which means our people were totally ignorant about the mechanism, of how religions spread. They were totally ignorant, or they were paid people. They were paid by the British. They were paid to be silent. So, though Sardar Patel was elected for the post of Prime Minister, Nehru was installed there. How? That is because of the British pressure. Because of the British pressure, which means they had an agenda to break the country. They had an agenda to rule in this particular India in a particular fashion. So that is the reason why I feel that the doctrine either of Islam or of Christianity to spread for the entire whole universe, entire globe, and destroy all other civilizations, it has always been there. We are now coming to know of it. We are now becoming aware of it. Earlier, we were not aware of it. In our student days, we never bothered about it. We never. In fact, I had very many friends from all religions, particularly Muslim friends. I had so many friends. In fact, I learnt Urdu also. I was so passionate about Urdu. I learnt some ghazals and all these things. So that is how we were. But then, probably they were also not aware. Many people were not aware. But their mullahs are very much aware. Their religious, the church people, they are very much aware. Church has its own mechanism. Church has its own machinery to convert people. Church has its own machinery to, denigrate other religions. They have their own machinery to do research, either on Hinduism or whatever, and then to denigrate all our Hindu gods and whatnot. So we were not aware of all this. It went on slowly underneath, and then they also portrayed some sections of the people as villains. For instance, the Brahmins are the villains. If you eliminate this Brahmin, then the whole India is ours. The whole country is ours. So probably their idea is to divide this country between Islam and Christianity, and then Hindus will naturally perish over a period of time. So that seems to be their plan, and we were not aware of it. Now we are aware of it. That is the only difference.
Okay. The other thing I want to discuss with you that of all these years, there is nothing in in the books, especially the central government. We have schools; many schools are there that they have not mentioned. Even though they mentioned about the great kings we had, Rana Pratap Singh, all the Shivaji Maharaj, and all these people, hardly maybe a paragraph, the entire book, but they glorify the Mughals of all these years. Now, past 10, 15, 20, 12 years. Now, recently, I saw that they would like to change the books, especially the history books, and introduce about all our even some Purana, Bhagavad Gita, and all those things. So, what do you think about all these things? Because Buddhijeevis, the intellectual, they already come up with all. So, how come you have removed the whole Mughal?
Yeah, you are right. You are right. That is why I said, was Nehru such an ignorant man? Nehru was not. I don't think Nehru was so ignorant. So probably he was conniving. He was conniving with some forces, and that is the reason why he allowed people, our education ministry, to be under the control of somebody else. So for about 15 years or so, immediately after independence, our education ministry was with some other people, not with Hindus, but with the people of other religion. And then during that time, our entire curriculum got changed. And then we started saying, glorifying Akbar the Great, Humayun the wisest ruler, etc., etc. Yeah. And as you said, our own history, our own, the very great battles which our people fought and then resisted the invaders. So they were not there in the books. They were not there in the books. We never read. We never felt proud about reading our history. So that is we were feeling. guilty, not guilty, but we were feeling rather, we were totally useless fellows. The invaders came and then probably they gave us some civilization. In fact, they went to the extent, the communists went to the extent of saying, so they gave us the civilization. So these people, either they are ignorant or they are totally paid people. In my view, they are totally paid by external forces. Whatever left-wing activity or whatever left liberal activity or intellectual activity which is going on, they are basically paid people.
The other thing also I noticed that probably you will also agree with me that now because of this speech, the freedom of speech, they talk only whether they criticize Hinduism or they even ridicule Hinduism, but not the others. Is it because of their fear of something happened to them?
Naturally.
Or
naturally, they are bothered about their
by the sword, yeah.
If they talk anything about Islam, their sir tan se juda. So they are very much aware of it. So the softest target is Hinduism, and even in the Hindu society, the softest target is the Brahmin. So we blame the Brahmin. For example, in Tamil Nadu, they repeatedly give calls, eliminate the Brahmins, you go and kill all the Brahmins. So repeatedly, the leaders, they give calls openly, and the Brahmins just keep quiet. The society is not acting because the society realizes that the Brahmins are never, suppressors. They are not oppressors. The Brahmin fellow, he wears some dhoti and then he goes to the temple or he performs his own ritual in his house, and he never abused his neighbor. He never, did any violent act anywhere. So where is the question of, attacking such people? So probably people are not against Brahmins, but the political leaders and the people who are radicalized are probably the people who have their own vested interests, who want to eliminate this section of the people. So they are against Brahmins. So it is like that. So the people, the left-wing people, they have their own agenda. They are being paid by the Abrahamic religions. That is my view.
I see.
Very firm view.
Also, again, there are movies also the target. Again, whether it is a Brahmin or Hinduism.
Naturally.
Whether it's a movies or whether, even some of the other people also that they talk about, anything you talk bad about that, as you said, it's something, Satan Juda. So, again, so the other question I want to ask that, there's so much of, people talk about Hinduism. We have our gurus, with the different thing. But still, what is the reason they don't, they won't come out and talk about, listen, this, we don't mess with any other religions or anything. And why they talk bad about that, please don't do that. Why can't they just come and say, because they go all over the world, because that many Swamijis. So why can't they tell about that, come up, okay, come on guys, you have to protect our dharma. Why can't they say anything?
They need not tell us, protect our dharma, etc. If they clarify some of the allegations, if they answer some of the allegations made by our critics, that will be good enough. For example, they need not say, we don't know what Samartha Ramdas did to Shivaji. People say that he enthused the army and then he not exactly provoked. He gave so much of moral courage to Shivaji, etc., etc. We are not aware. But right now, for example, somebody says Hinduism is equal to caste. Hinduism is not caste. Sanatana Dharma is something like a plague or dengue which has to be eliminated, etc. So coming to this issue of caste, caste is not there in Hinduism in any of the textbooks. It is not there. Only Varna has been mentioned, and that 4 Varnas are mentioned and not 4,000-5,000 castes. So the Swamijis, they have to clarify, that's all. They have to only say that Varna is there, and then all these castes which people are talking about. And for this, all our Hinduism is being blamed. It is not because of Hinduism. It is because of the sociological needs. It is because of the sociological needs that somebody has become a weaver, somebody is a barber, somebody is a goldsmith, somebody is a carpenter, somebody is something else. So it is because of the sociological needs that so many castes have come. And Hinduism does not mention, Hinduism has not promoted any of these castes. It has nothing to do with that. Hinduism says every human being, not only human being, every living being is the same as that infinity, as that supreme reality. Every being is the same as that Brahman. So that is our philosophy. We don't say you are a sinner, etc., etc. We say, you are that God, Tat Tvamasi, you are the divine. So that is our philosophy.
What you are saying, like Brahma creates, Vishnu may take care of it, and Shiva destroy. That's what their job also, right? That's what we call Tribhutis.
No, that is a very, very simplistic assessment. That is a simplistic statement.
Yeah.
The three cosmic functions which are happening, it is not as though three people are sitting there. One man creates and then one man nourishes and another man kills. It's not like that. It is not such simplistic. There is a cosmic cycle. That cycle goes on and on for some time, and then it say the sattva guna, rajo guna, tamo guna, etc. When the tamo guna increases, then naturally there is a destruction. Not because of Shiva. The destruction, process of destruction, we are calling it Rudra. That's all. They are just symbolic names. Vishnu, Rudra, Shiva. Brahma. They are symbolic names. It is not as though three people are sitting and doing all these things. So, your question was about...
No, the thing is that...
Why our Swamijis?
Yeah. No, why our Swamijis?
Yeah. I just do not know. In fact, I recently wrote a book, Indic Religions, Challenges for Survival. In fact, I translated it into Telugu also. I myself translated it into Telugu. It is available in... both the books are published by MSCO publishers here in Hyderabad.
So, they're available in...
Yeah, they are available here. So in that, there is one whole chapter on the Swamijis. If the Swamijis keep quiet, they are actually losing their own power. If one Swamiji tells, in fact, the Hindu society is waiting for some sort of leadership. And whoever comes out, he will become a leader. And the people, unfortunately, they don't want to come out and then they don't want to tell anything. If a Swami says, okay, clarify something about caste or clarify something about something else, then, or at least make some sort of remark. You see, why you are having so many gods? Because our concept of reality is there is only one reality, which is a formless reality, and you visualize any form, any name in that. So that is the highest form of inclusiveness, highest form of tolerance. All this religious tolerance, etc., is there only in Hinduism and not in any other religion. We can boldly say that. We can happily say that. Nobody can contradict. You see, all this inclusivism, liberalism, what we call secularism, etc., all these things, they are there in Hinduism. Actually, these concepts, in my view, they are actually borrowed from Hinduism, and then the Western people, they started claiming as their own virtues. So, these are the things which Swamijis can clarify. They have to clarify. One whole chapter on Swamijis is there in my book, and then my books I gave to some Swamijis also what to do.
The other day, when I was talking to somebody, they said, Krishna, that probably in another 20, 30 years, probably we'll see more of Hindu Dharma talking in whether in America or even in Western countries than in India. You think you agree with that?
Yeah, there is a possibility, because Hinduism, as we call it, is not based on faith. It is not based on blind belief, because religion means... all religions are usually religion means somebody at some point of time, he comes and then says, I had some communication from God and this is the communication, you should all believe. So that becomes a belief. And luckily for him, suppose he also gets the support of some army, gets the support of some king, then naturally it spreads. If you take the case of Christianity, Christianity did not spread for about 300 years after it was, after Christ taught it. So in 303, Common Era, I think King Constantine accepted, or rather he accepted Christianity, he took Christianity, he became a Christian rather, and then after some time he totally banished the erstwhile religion, all the religions which were there, Mithraism, etc., the religions, they were banished, and then with the support of the throne, with the support of the king, Christianity spread by killing, and then by killing, by sheer force. And we know that Islam also, during the time of Muhammad itself, during the lifetime of Muhammad itself, Islam spread in the same manner, by violence only. So these are facts of history which nobody can deny. So this is what it is. So we never did any such thing. And our Hinduism is not based on blind faith, it is based on the reasoning of the Upanishads. In fact, this is the point I wanted to say. In the Upanishads, there is a scientific speculation. There is a sort of rational inquiry, as we call it now. What is the nature of God? If I have to know, if I have to investigate the nature of God, then where should I start from? I have to start from myself. because I am the examiner. I am the examiner and I have to examine myself. It is like examining the examiner. So I have to examine myself about how I am, seeing the world. Can I see what is called God with whatever equipment I have? So, for example, the five senses and mind are there, and behind this, what is it that is there behind all these things? So that way, there is a scientific speculation. And you see, in the human body, for example, they talk about the five kosha, as they call it, Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, etc. If you see our Upanishads, they talk about all this. So, am I this Annamaya kosha? Am I the food body? Or am I the prana body? Or am I the mind body? So, I am not all these things. Then what am I? So the question goes on, investigation goes on like that. When the investigation goes on like that, then ultimately what remains is there is what is called I, that existence, and also the awareness that I exist. So there is what is called existence and awareness, or Sat and Chit. They called it Sat and Chit, Sat, Chit, Ananda, or Sat, Chit, Anantam. And this Sat, Chit and infinity, that is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Such a definition you can never find in any religion. So in any religion, they say that, yeah, God is a person who is there sitting in heaven. If I kill these people, I will go to heaven. So that is their idea of God. Our idea of God is not like that. Our God is not even a person. Our God is an entity which is there in the whole universe. And that same consciousness is appearing as this whole creation. So such concepts, they are not there anywhere. So which means that many people in the West also, even the scientists, the present day scientists, they are not able to disprove. They don't want, many of them are philosophers actually. Many of the physicists, they become philosophers because physics and philosophy, they come together.
Yes.
After all, when they can't go beyond a particular point, they have to come back to philosophy only. So many of them, I am not a student of physics, but then people say that quantum physics is very close to our Advaita Vedanta, this non-dualism. Science and non-duality.com. There is one website also. So like that, science, our philosophy is the only thing which is compatible with modern science, which is compatible with rational thinking. Other religions, they are based on blind faith. So, as you said, Hinduism, or rather Hindu philosophy, will survive in the West. Even if Hinduism, degenerates here in India. That is my view. So, philosophy is something, these are ideas. These ideas nobody can kill. So, they will survive, and then they will be there in the universities, maybe America or Germany or some such place. So philosophy will survive. The Upanishads will survive. Hindu rituals may not be there. Hindu people, they may be there. They may degenerate. We do not know.
In India, as we see, you might have heard, or you might be there in Dallas, especially they did a record of Bhagavad Gita chanting. Probably 10,000 kids are chanting without looking into the books. Those things are happening which you never expected. I don't see that much is kind of these things happening in India, where we have hundreds of crores of people here. So what do you think? Why is that?
No, that Swamiji, of course, I admire him for his initiative, but it will be better if they tell what is there in the Gita. You see, making a child learn all the 700 slokas over a period of 2 years, they are devoting about 2 years of time to learn all that. That is too much of a burden on the child. And after some time, if he doesn't know the meaning, then he will just come out of it, and then he will think that all that is a waste. So
it's only by heart.
We have to tell the content of the book. We have to tell. In fact, even a 10th class student, we can tell him as to what is the nature of Hinduism. So the Hindu philosophy, we can tell them in a very, very rational manner. So that is more important. And Gita is amenable to that. Gita, we can take out some slokas, maybe about 60, 70 slokas are good enough. They will give you whatever is needed for the modern student about our idea of God, because somebody comes and says, oh, we are having only one God, you have got 100 gods. So then Gita says, what is our idea of God? As I said just now, they described, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Our God is something which is of the nature of infinitely existing consciousness. So such a definition is nowhere there. And in that infinitely existing entity, you visualize any name and form. So that is another statement which is there in the Gita. So such shlokas, they should be taught, and their meaning and then import has to be told to those people. And Gita also says, you worship any other god also, not only me, you worship any other god. You are worshipping only one reality. Such an egalitarian view. Our God doesn't say, I am a jealous God, like other religions say, I am a jealous God. You can't worship anybody. All other people are demons. They are devils. We don't have a concept of devil. You see, in our view, in our philosophy, we only have asuras, rakshasas. That means bad people. We don't have the concept of devil as such.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing is that we had, in fact, I know that there was one happened in Vizag, that there was world record happened in about chanting Gita also. But again, we have hundreds of crores of people here, and that's what my
That is more for, in my view, that is more for show.
Okay.
That is more for show. We have to develop some small curriculum. This is what is the message of the Gita. Level 1, level 2, level 3. Gita can be made, customized for 3 different types of people. For example, some management person, he wants to talk about personality development. So there are a particular set of shlokas which can be taken out, and then they can focus on that. For character building, there are a set of shlokas, for example, 16th, 17th and 18th chapters. So those chapters for character building. Then again, for philosophical debates, what is the nature of God, what is the nature of Jiva, that is a human being, and what is this creation, etc., multiple gods, etc. You can focus on that. And from the point of view of a seeker, somebody, in fact, the basic point is a seeker. If somebody is interested in moksha, what is the mechanism, what is the path which has been described in the Gita? And for the common man who is not interested in moksha, who is not aware of the moksha, he has to do his duty, discharge his duty in a bold way, in a righteous manner. So for that, what Gita says? So like this 4 or 5 4 or 5 focus areas can be there. Gita, from the point of view of 4 or 5 different people, it can be customized.
Okay. There was, so just changing a little bit topic, one question, that there was in the constitution that they cannot teach Hinduism in the schools, but whereas there is no restriction to teach any other religions. It was in the constitution, and they wanted to introduce, and after that, of course, they did introduce, because the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, he said that you cannot do that. And after that, of course, I heard that they did introduce, and now even till today, it is still on, that article is there. So what do you take, what is your take on that one? Why, being a majority of the Hindus here, why can't we teach in
Yeah, that
school?
was the unfortunate part of Nehru's regime. So he never bothered about Hinduism. So
even till today, it is not there, that's what I
yeah, that is unfortunate.
So you think...
No, probably we after so much of social change and all that, in the initial stages, something could have been done. And we wasted many years. And over a period of time, so much of nasty thing has been built up. Nasty atmosphere has built up. So in this nasty atmosphere, and so much of opposition for anything good about Hinduism, so it may be now difficult to introduce all these things. So even when we were children, we had some shlokas from Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc., some verses from those texts. Now Ramayana and Mahabharata, they are untouchable from the point of view of government. So that is a tragedy.
I see. So what do you think that the younger generation is not really interested in? I'm not saying everybody. Majority of the kids are not that interested in knowing our Puranas, and there's so many other...
No, it is not their fault. We have not told them. As you said, our Swamijis, they don't tell them. Our Swamijis have to tell you, like I said just now, you customize Gita for a management fellow, customize Gita for a student, customize Gita for a seeker, customize Gita for an ordinary man who wants to succeed in life, who wants to do his job boldly. That is what his Karma Yoga says. Because Krishna's effort was not to make Arjuna a saint, not to make Arjuna a sannyasi. His effort was to make Arjuna to perform his swadharma in a bold manner.
To his duty.
Yeah, do duty in a very bold manner. And in the case of Arjuna, it was battle. In the case of all of us, it may not be a battle. It may be sometimes a need to take a tough decision. Maybe I may be required to take a tough decision sometime. So for that, I have to have a proper understanding of what is dharma and what is adharma.
Dharma.
So if I have that understanding, I am bold. In fact, in the very beginning of Mahabharata, there sage Vyasa says, Mahabharata is there to give boldness to people. It is there. It gives you boldness, it gives you moral strength, moral courage. In fact, that is what Jagat Palaitrunam Kshatriyanam Baladhanaya, as one commentator writes. It gives moral courage to the kings who are the people who are the rulers. So, and not only to the kings, but to everybody to do his dharma. So, like that, it can be customized. So, if we have not told proper things to the children, how do they know? You see, all through all these pravachans, etc., they say, okay, you do this puja, you do that puja, you will go to heaven, and then all the sins of 1 million, lives, all that will be washed off, etc., etc. But then they don't tell us what is there, the rational content of the philosophical content of our texts. The parents do not know, and the children also do not know, and our people who are supposed to say, they don't say. That is a problem.
Okay. So finally, what is your message to the younger generation that they should do?
I have no message to younger generation. I have a message to older generation.
Okay.
That is, all old people, they have to know, and then they have to tell their kids. In fact, my focus is on parents, not on children, because you can't blame the children. Because they are actually, they are born, unfortunately, in this age, to ignorant parents. So we have to educate the parents. So my message is only to parents. They may be parents, in the 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever it is. We have to know, and then we should be able to teach other people. So that is my message. There is no other way, because our Swamiji, in fact, there is one Swamiji here, Tattvavidananda. So he is a very eminent Swamiji. So he always says Hinduism was always protected by people in general, scholars in general. Because Hinduism is not protected by Swamijis alone.
No,
Swamijis, they were giving some general directions, they were there, and then we go and then we pay respects to them, come back, etc. But then there were so many Swamijis, not Swamijis, there are so many scholars, particularly about 30, 40 years ago, in several places. They were teaching Gita, they were teaching Mahabharatam, they were talking about Bhagavatam. So how many people are talking about Bhagavatam now? Not many. So that way, some people, of course, we have some good people who are telling pravachanams, who are influencing lakhs and lakhs of people. Some people are there, but then Hinduism, in fact, about 30, 40 years ago, there were many more teachers like that. That is it. So now, of course, we have the advantage of technology. So because of technology, now that you are doing my, whatever I am speaking, you are recording. So like this, many people will, a pravachan will be there by somebody. So because of technology, I feel that Hinduism will survive. But parents have to know. Parents should have some patience to devote some time, to earmark some time to know this.
Before I conclude this interview, sir, okay, just maybe a few seconds about your books, just a little bit. But you have written so many books, just a few books, and then we will conclude.
I'll give a couple of books to you.
Okay.
My one book which I recommend to everybody is How to Teach Hinduism to Your Child.
Okay.
Then I have written 2 books on Gita. One is A Guide to Bhagavad Gita, that is chapter wise, what does it say? But more in a more focused manner. To a modern student, I have written another book recently. That is one book. Of course, Upanishads, etc., you may not be interested, there are some. Then again, one book I said, Indic Religions, Challenges for Survival. Indic religions, the very survival is at stake. If things go on in a very, in the same manner, we are facing a great danger in spite of all technology and whatnot. There is also equally negative forces.
But that's only English, sir. But what about in any other languages?
English and Telugu I have written. Sanskrit, of course, only one. Sanskrit I have written one. My thesis on Upanishads, that is there in Sanskrit.
Any plan to translate into other languages also that your book?
Sanskrit
Indic,
text.
yeah, Indic.
Yeah, the same, but Indic religion, yeah, I have myself translated into Telugu also.
Telugu,
It is there in Telugu also.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Aravinda Rao,
Thank you.
for
Namaskar.
giving a wonderful
Namaste.
interview to the IAS News, and we wish you all the best, sir. And we look forward to see you one more time again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.